Hello troops, welcome back to the channel. My name's Ryan. I'm a former commando from the United Kingdom. Today we're going to be talking about how the United States would fight a nuclear war. We've got some footage that we're going to go through. The footage is by a channel called Modern Muscle. The link will be in the description as always, guys. Go and show them some love and support, because without them, we wouldn't be able to react and review content like this. So go and show them some love. But before we get into it, you know what to do, guys. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Comment below your thoughts and your feelings on the content and whatever I say on there, whether you agree or not. It's we're only doing this, for the viewer's sake, so to speak, and to generate a good conversation around it. So let's get into it. And thanks for stopping by. I really do appreciate every single one of you guys. Much love. Let's go.
It's been over 80 years since a major conflict has broken out in Europe. The result has left many with a deep sense of uncertainty. Nearly 70% of Americans surveyed by the American Psychological Association feared that we are at the beginning stages of World War III. The prospect of nuclear conflict, once unthinkable, is now a very real possibility. Today, we're going to explore the unthinkable. How would the United States respond during a nuclear conflict? What's America's nuclear war plan? How many nuclear weapons are readily available to the president? Where are they? What are their targets? How many missiles would be launched? How many casualties could we expect after American bombs reach their destinations? What would the world look like going forward? And most importantly, could the United States win a global nuclear war?
Well, so I'm going to answer that right now, based off the fact that they've got NATO and other allies all around the globe who are also nuclear superpowers, who would instantly be almost morally obliged to support them. So how would the United States fight a nuclear war? Obviously with their own arsenal of nuclear warheads, but with everyone else's as well. Okay, you'd be kind of forced into that. So I think it would be a game changer for the rest of the world. But yeah, hopefully this stuff never happens. And to answer the question about what's the next World War III going to look like, I don't think we would know, even if we were actively undergoing or going through World War III. I think it's going to look so different to what the first two world wars looked like. Most people would be oblivious to the fact that it's even happening. Okay, now I'll let you guys think about that for a few moments as you're watching the video as to what I truly mean behind that. But I don't think most people would even know if we're going through World War III personally.
The United States operates under a nuclear triad, consisting of land-based intercontinental ballistic missiles, or ICBMs, sea-based submarines armed with submarine-launched ballistic missiles, or SLBMs, and air-based strategic bombers, carrying gravity bombs and air-launched nuclear cruise missiles. Now let's take a look at each part of America's triad and its weapon delivery systems. The first and most well-known part of America's nuclear triad is its land-based intercontinental ballistic missiles, or ICBMs. The US has 400 LGM-30 Minuteman III ICBMs that are launched via silos.
That we know of. I think this obviously is information that's out in the public domain, but I do think that it'll be obviously not just ICBMs, but other capabilities that America has that isn't public knowledge, and that goes down to national security reasons, for the greater good, so to speak. You can have your opinions on whether or not that's a good or bad thing, both militarily and, for humanity. But I think when world police is America, whether we like it or not, I think what they do, is what's going to happen anyway, so to speak. So, yeah, I think they've probably got a lot more behind the scenes. That's my point.
These 400 missiles have a range of over 6,000 miles and have near pinpoint accuracy.
Wow. So 6,000 miles that's massively a massive difference compared to what Russia has in terms of their capability. There was talks on one of the live video streams I did a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago or two, about how inaccurate the Russian capability is in terms of their, not just their artillery, but their, I don't even know if you can call it smart bombs, but we'll call it that. Some of these things were inaccurate up to 1,000 meters. Now, 1,000 meters is a lot, guys. Okay, it's one click on the map, and to be that inaccurate is extremely not just potentially devastating for collateral damage and the local populace, you're going to be killing innocent individuals, but just militarily, how can you possibly utilize that bit of equipment when it has an inaccuracy range of that much? Now, these, on the other hand, are pinpoint accurate, okay, which is, call it what you want, whether you agree with war or not. It's going to reduce collateral damage massively. So yeah, I think it's good.
Launched, the Three Straits Minuteman III travels at speeds of over 15,000 miles per hour, reaching its target in under 30 minutes.
Wow.
Each Minuteman III missile carries one warhead. 200 Minuteman III missiles are armed with a 335 kiloton W-87 Mark 21A warhead, while the other half are armed with a 300 kiloton W-78 Mark 12 warhead.
Yeah, not going to lie, all of this is going over my head, in one ear, out the other. I don't understand what any of it means, so if you can help me out in the chat, I'd appreciate that.
Each warhead has around 40 times the destructive power of the bombs dropped on Japan in 1945.
Okay, that puts it into context a bit.
America's Minuteman III silos are based in 3 rural areas: the 90th Missile Wing at F.E. Warren Air Base in Colorado, Nebraska, and Wyoming, the 91st Missile Wing at Minot Air Force Base in North Dakota, and the 341st Missile Wing at Maelstrom Air Force Base in Montana. Each wing has 3 squadrons, and each squadron has 50 Minuteman III silos. They're collectively controlled by 5 hardened underground control launch centers, each operated with 2 military officers around the clock at all times. In the event that launch command centers are destroyed in a surprise attack, or the military officers inhabiting the launch command control centers get cold feet, these missiles can and will be remotely launched from an airborne command center, carrying out orders from the president. As with all things, there are
Right, so the capability is almost foolproof in case in the event of a disaster of some sort, whether, the officers have been taken out or, like you said, are getting their heads down sleeping, which we know professionally speaking, the United States military won't be doing that anyway. One of the most professional militaries I've ever worked with, and I've worked with 1 or 2 guys in my past life as a Royal Marines Commando. Some of them were shocking around the globe, and I'll not name any countries. But let's just say they like to eat frogs for a living. That's pretty much all I've got to say on that one. I'll let you work that out.
Are advantages and disadvantages of the silo-based Minuteman III. Its primary advantage is that these 400 missiles make the most responsive leg of the nuclear triad. America's land-based ICBM force has remained on continuous around-the-clock 24/7 alert since 1959. They can be quickly launched in less than 5 minutes. America's silo-based ICBMs offer a strategic advantage as well. Due to their remote launch capability, an effective nuclear attack against America's Minuteman III silos will require at least 400 warheads, or 1 bomb aimed at each silo, forcing the enemy to use and deplete a considerable amount of their nuclear arsenal. But this
So effectively, it's not going to be cost effective, and most of the time it's not going to be really possible for any military on the globe to be able to take out these Minutemen bombs is what I'm making of that, which, in terms of a contingency plan for America, it just shows how smart they are strategically. They've put them in such a way where, if you want to have a go, you want to try and take them out, you can try at your peril, but it's probably going to waste all your resources in the process, and not really doing you any favors, put it that way. So yeah, interesting, strategically advantageous, and I think all around, a good effort by the United States in this matter.
strategic advantage also highlights the Minuteman III's disadvantages. America's land.
Okay, I can't think of any initially. I guess we'll find out in this next clip.
These Minuteman IIIs are inherently vulnerable, as their location is commonly known, and therefore silos can and will be easily targeted.
Right, so this is where my theories come into place now, and it's not because I know information behind the scenes or anything. I'm just trying to think logically about United States tactically thinking. These are the ones that are public knowledge. Now, the way America operates, the way any good military, the way any first world country would operate would be to have a contingency plan. And you can't tell me that this country wouldn't have these things elsewhere. We've got public domain. Maybe that's the first part of their strategy. If you are ever going to try and take these things out, here's the ones that are public knowledge. Hit these ones first. But we've got an arsenal probably thrice as big elsewhere that you don't know about. So once you've depleted your nuclear arsenal, guess what? We're going to absolutely hammer it home. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Maybe my theory's, a little bit off, but that's what I personally think.
As a result, in the event of a large-scale attack, the president would be put in a sticky situation. He or she would have to either use these 400 missiles or lose them, forcing a large-scale retaliatory attack in response to perceived incoming warheads targeting American silos. With enemy missiles already in flight, the leader of the free world would only have 15 minutes to decide. And once a missile is launched, there's no turning back. The second arm of America's nuclear triad is its air-based strategic bombers. The U.S. Air Force currently operates a fleet of 66 strategic bombers. America's strategic bombers are organized into 9 bomb squadrons and 5 bomb wings at 3 bases: Minot Air Force Base in North Dakota, Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana, and Whitman Air Force Base in Missouri.
You know, American military is bloody huge, isn't it? You know, they've got all of these different wings, different battalions, different groups, different sectors. It's humongous, guys, all right? And again, I was in a very small part of the British military, the Royal Marines, and, you know, the other elements to our British military that made it up, you've got the Royal Navy, you've got the Army, and the Air Force, and that's pretty much it, okay? Now, everyone knows we've got Special Forces, SAS, SBS, and 1 or 2 other parts of that, you know, Special Reconnaissance Regiment, and it's really simple. It's not that big. We haven't got massive divisions or anything like that. It's quite small now, unfortunately. And, you know, it is the way it is. But America is, it's got a lot of moving parts, guys. And that's why you have to be respectful to that country militarily, because they've got a lot of working parts that are all over the globe as well, doing a fantastic job, I may say.
There are 300 nuclear weapons currently deployed at strategic bomber bases in the U.S. An additional 100 tactical nuclear bombs are deployed at NATO air bases in Europe. America's bomber fleet consists of 46 B-52 Stratofortress bombers and 20 B-2 stealth bombers. The B-2 stealth bomber can carry up to 16 1,200 kiloton nuclear gravity bombs. Each gravity bomb contains a massive payload of 150 times the destructive power of the bomb dropped on Hiroshima.
You just can't even fathom what that would look like on the battlefield. It's we should never ever be put in a situation where we have to even comment on these things. Hopefully, we never have to see nuclear warheads used. I mean, I personally would all be for every single country, you know, getting rid of them, but that's not realistic. That's certainly not going to be realistic in my lifetime anyway. But these things are so atrocious that it's, I believe, if anything can have a massive effect on civilization, holistically speaking, i.e., if you start using these things, we could wipe ourselves out as a species. We should all come to some sort of an agreement to go, well, hey, listen, no matter what our indifferences are, we can all agree on one thing. None of us want to be completely wiped out, right? So that's what these things would do, wipe us all out. So that's why I think, 1, they would never be used. 2, if they're never going to be used and they're the ultimate deterrent that's never going to be used, let's just get rid of them, all right? That's what I personally think. I don't know, maybe I'm a bit old school, guys.
The B-52 Stratofortress bomber is a long-range heavy bomber with the ability to travel up to 9,000 miles without refueling. The B-52 carries up to 20 AGM-86 subsonic air-launched cruise missiles. When launched, the AGM-86 missile can travel over 1,500 miles at speeds exceeding 555 miles per hour.
See, these figures just blow my brains away, guys. They
Using
really
its
do.
independent guidance system to deliver a W-80 150 kiloton warhead to its target in less than 90 seconds. Each warhead contains around 20 times the destructive power of the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. The primary advantage of using air-based strategic bombers is that they can be called back if necessary. Furthermore, subsonic air.
That's a very good point. Never thought about that. Once these ICBMs have gone, that's it. You know, there's no going back. You're going to hell, and everyone's coming with you. With these, the stealth bombers, yeah, the missions they can be stopped, can't they, mid-flight, so to speak. So you can revert on your decision making. There's a little bit of a safety net with that. With these other things, you press the button, that's it, mate. You're going to hell.
Launched nuclear cruise missiles are a lot harder to defend against. When launched, an enemy force would have to counterattack each missile individually, making defense costly and complicated. The small size also makes them difficult to detect on radar. The primary disadvantage of strategic bombers is their response time. They take a lot longer to get in the air, and if air bases aren't on high alert, or if planes aren't already in flight, there's a high probability of them being destroyed in an initial surprise attack. This is particularly true for bomber bases located in Europe.
No, don't do that. That's my area right there. That noise literally puts the hair that I haven't got anymore on the back of my head stand up.
The last and most important part of America's nuclear triad are its nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines.
Right, let's talk about these things. I think these are the most capable bits of kit on the planet, the nuclear ballistic missile submarines. Why? Let's look at it from an offensive position first, and then we'll talk about it defensively. Offensively, these things can be anywhere at any given time and can respond to whenever they need to, all right, without any real major disruption. They're under the sea. They can be there for a long period of time. Most of them are probably nuclear-based submarines anyway in terms of their power output. So they can be underwater for a long, long period of time. Extremely effective, and they can send chills in other countries' bones simply because they don't know where they are, all right? So it keeps you on alert, thinking, got to be careful. We might have a few of these things in our waters, all right? Really, really good in that respect. Defensively speaking, we have to look at it the same way. You know, these things can be anywhere. So defensively speaking, they're very, very hard to track. The stealth technology on most of them are probably going to be second to none. And the fact that can be anywhere in the big old ocean, you know, who's gonna be able to locate where these things are? All right, very, very top secret bits of kit. Really, really good. So strategically speaking, defensively and offensively, they're good for the same reasons.
The U.S. Navy operates a fleet of 14 Ohio-class ballistic missile submarines. Each submarine carries 20 Trident II submarine-launched ballistic missiles. The Trident II SOBM is...
And if I'm not mistaken, that's the same system what the UK adopted from the States. I think I might be right on that.
The most destructive weapon in America's nuclear arsenal. Each missile is armed with either 4 or 5 475 kiloton W-88 warheads. In theory, each sub can launch its entire 20 missile payload virtually undetected in under 7 minutes. When launched, the 3-stage Trident II travels at speeds of over 18,000 miles per hour, has a range of over 7,500 miles, and typically reaches its target or targets in around 15 minutes. Each warhead is guided by a multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicle, or MIRV, allowing a single Trident II missile to deliver up to 5 warheads to 5 separate targets. Just one Trident II missile alone, armed with 5 warheads, has 154 times the destructive power of the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. Overall, the U.S. has around 70% of all of its warheads on submarines, and with good reason.
I was just about to interfere with my reasons, but I'm going to let this guy explain his first.
There are numerous advantages of the ballistic missile submarine. For starters, they make up the most survivable leg of the nuclear triad. Ballistic missile submarines are virtually undetectable at sea. Their stealth design makes finding one an almost impossible task.
Yeah, so that's what we mentioned. That's both offensive and defensively speaking. You can't find the bloody things, all right? Really, really good.
Giving pause to potential adversaries. With at least 10 submarines on constant patrol at all times, ballistic missile submarines assure that the U.S. can strike at any time, anywhere, even after a surprise attack.
Yeah, so we covered that as well. The maneuverability to be anywhere on the ground, in the ocean, is a force to be reckoned with, all right, strategically speaking. Fantastic bit of kit.
Each sub carrying an average of 100 warheads each. They have enough firepower to make just one submarine the 6th most powerful nuclear power in the world. In terms of disadvantages, there simply are none.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. There just simply are no disadvantages to have this bit of kit. You could probably look into it a little bit deeper than that and say, well, let's look at the price to maintain these things. I know our budget in Britain, whether you're for it or against it, the Trident, I think it's called, defense system, people actually want it disbanded because of the amount of money each year it costs to keep it in service. So, America's got a lot of these. That's probably going to be adding to their budget considerably. So if there was a negative, maybe it's the cost, but the cost outweighs the fact that these things can be, literally anywhere, anytime, and launch operations when they need to.
When people imagine a nuclear war, the first thing that comes to mind is large cities like Los Angeles and Moscow being incinerated in a blaze of nuclear hellfire. While this would definitely be a likely outcome, the reality is that around 70% of the 1,800 nuclear warheads currently deployed by the United States aren't aimed at large cities, but instead at enemy countries' nuclear forces. To better understand this, we first need to take a look at America's current strategic nuclear war plan.
Well, as people would like to think it is. Again, the public information is probably going to be quite far from the literal truth. Not going to say that this isn't going to be a good single integrated operational plan, but what I'm saying is that this ain't going to be the same to the official ones. Put it that way. It can't be.
Also known as the Single Integrated Operational Plan, or SIOP. First drawn up in 1950, the SIOP focused primarily on the Soviet Union. While today most of the weapons in the war plan still target Russia, other countries such as China, North Korea, India, and Pakistan are included as well. In this video...
Right, I didn't think India would be. That's actually took me by surprise. Maybe it's my lack of military knowledge and is failing me there on that one. Why India? Why Pakistan? I can understand Pakistan to a degree because of Afghanistan stuff, but I'm not too sure why India. That's really took me by surprise, that, to be fair.
Video will take a look at a nuclear exchange with the only nuclear power comparable to the United States, the Russian Federation. This portion of America's nuclear war plan is called Major Attack Option 1. Major Attack Option 1 is the most demanding attack option available to the president. Should the Commander-in-Chief order Major Attack Option 1, the resulting attack would consist of over 1,000 warheads, targeting Russian nuclear forces, including ICBM silos, road mobile ICBMs, submarine bases, primary airfields, nuclear storage facilities, design and production complexes, critical command and control facilities, and civilian population centers. Now let's take a look at Major Attack Option 1, its Russian targets, the American nuclear weapons used, and the overall outcome of an American thermonuclear attack on Russia.
Right, okay, so based on when this video was actually released, I can definitely say that if they haven't upgraded their ICBM or their operational plan to be able to deploy these things to specific areas of interest that are needed, I would like to think that Russia's probably become an area where they've focused more on recent, especially in the past 6 months, maybe even more since, 2014 Crimea. I'd imagine that that's actually been heightened since the special operation that Putin called in the region of Ukraine. I would like to think so anyway, especially with where things are going. Threats are being thrown about and everything at the moment. It's very, very uneasy times over there, and uneasy times there potentially could spiral into uneasy times closer to home. All right, and the thing is, with war, no one's really too bothered until it comes closer to home, guys. Wow, okay, so to be continued. That's a fantastic channel. I don't know if I've reacted or reviewed any of their content before, but the channel is called Modern Muscle. Stick around, guys. We've got a few things that we do need to talk about as well. So if you're still here, let me know in the comments, and I've got a few things I want to share with you guys. So first things first, Modern Muscle. Fantastic YouTube channel. They're about the same, a little bit more subscribers than me, But, these videos are very high quality, and I can understand the editing process that this guy has to do and go through to be able to make these videos possible. So please go show them some love. Without these videos, we couldn't have our say on the matter. So thank you to Modern Muscle. Fantastic channel indeed. 2, if you're brand new here, please consider subscribing to the channel. Okay, we're on a mission to be a million channel plus, million subscriber plus channel, and I hope we can do that. We're quarter of the way there now, so there's no reason we can't, do that and get to a million. I believe we can. And like the channel content, if you haven't done so already, share it with your friends far and wide. And the reason being, I've been in contact with a talent manager from a very high up company, and I asked them, look, will you take me on? Because I want to be able to get into the YouTube boxing scene. I want to be mixing it amongst True Geordie, KSI, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Deji, all of these individuals who have got fine and fantastic YouTube careers, all have talent managed to some extent. And I need one. I want one. I need one to be able to push my content to the next level, to be able to allow me to fulfill my dream of boxing on a YouTube boxing event. Those YouTube boxing events, are actually less about your actual talent and more about your social media status. So if you're not following me on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Twitter, and all of these other places, please go search me up, Gen Dick Commando, and you'll find me on there and follow me, because once I've got 40 to 70,000 views per video, as said by this talent manager, I won't be able to have a talent manager in that company. So let's just support the channel as much as we can. Let's push it as hard as we can. And once we get those numbers, I do believe that I will get accepted by a talent manager, and you'll be seeing me on, these pay-per-view events coming to a place near you soon, or fighting, on a YouTube boxing event. So it's only impossible if you say it is, and I think it's possible. The fact that I've been given an opportunity to increase my views to 40 to 70,000 per video, I accept that as a challenge accepted, and I do believe that I'll get there. Maybe it's not this year, but definitely next year I will get there, guys. But I can't do it without you, and I don't ask for a lot. Please like the video, share the content, watch it as much as you can, and if you want to become a member to support the journey, press the join button, guys. But other than that, if you are here right to the very end, 26, 27 minutes in, let me know in the comments so I can thank you guys personally, because without you, this doesn't work, okay? But hey, all positive here. Hope you enjoyed my thoughts and feelings on how the United States would fight a nuclear war. That's it, guys. See you next time.